Welcome back to the channel. You guys know it's an offbeat video. We're gonna do a little bit something different this time. You guys know that I'm a DJ, and if you don't know I'm a DJ, that means you don't follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Not sure you're not doing that. Go ahead and do that for real. But we're gonna have a segment that we call Mixed Takes, where I go ahead and react to certain hot takes that you guys send to me, and I see if you guys know what you guys are talking about in this NBA season. But besides all that, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're new to the channel, definitely turn post notification bell on. We're getting down to the last few games of the season, entering the playoffs. You don't want to miss any of the videos that I drop. But besides all that, let's get into some mixtapes, man. Coming in from Rich17 on YouTube, he says Memphis is gonna make it to the Western Conference Finals. I ain't gonna lie, I think this is possible. You look at the Memphis Grizzlies, they got John Morant going crazy, going through the grind. I ain't gonna lie, John Morant. If I hear another, I feel like John Morant versus the grind, John Morant comes out on top every single time, no matter what. John Morant has gone through hell and back. But besides that, John's been playing great. Jaren Jackson Jr., he might be all defensive team this year, averaging 2 blocks per game. Desmond Bane's a sniper. Dylan Brooks hasn't even come back yet, but when he comes back, his team's gonna be better. I think the best shot for Memphis to actually make it to the Western Conference Finals, I don't think they can beat the Suns, but I think they might have a chance against the Warriors. And I won't give you guys my pick yet, because when we get down to the playoffs and we figure out who the teams are and what the playoffs are gonna be, I think I'll give you my take then, but I think Memphis has a viable shot of making it to the conference finals. And look, they're young and hungry, and that's a scary thing to deal with when the team has nothing to really lose. So they're dangerous, and you gotta respect them what they're doing this season. Next up, we have a hot take on Twitter. I'm not gonna say the username because I'm not trying to get packed up on YouTube, but he says KD can't win on his own and pairs himself with superstars to hide the fact that he is just Black Porzingis.
Is this nigga serious?
I ain't gonna lie, you tripping. But I do think that with KD being on the Brooklyn Nets, now he has a whole new team with the James Harden trade. A lot of people are gonna look at his legacy and say he left Golden State to go to Brooklyn, and if he doesn't win a championship there, it's not gonna look good. I do think Kevin Durant, no matter what, he's gonna end his career maybe a top 10 player of all time. But even with him tweeting stuff like legacies and narratives, I think he understands that he has to win in Brooklyn, and I don't think he's a Black Porzingis. Come on, bro. Black Porzingis? Black Porzingis? I guess, bro. I guess. Next up, we have another hot take on Twitter, and this man, Lou Will Burner, says that if PG and Kawhi were both healthy, they'd be the best team in the NBA. This is a hot take, and I honestly think you have a point, but I will say this. Kawhi and PG, like I said in my last rankings video, if those guys are healthy with this team that they went ahead and added some pieces in, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, I know Norman Powell's injured, but you look at the Clippers, they've been playing great basketball, over 500. They're probably going to be in the playoffs without their 2 best players. This team has all the role pieces that you need to go ahead and make a move and make a run for a championship. And Kawhi and PG, they got all the help they need. They got length. Like, I think they'd be a tough team. I think they'd be the second best team in the Western Conference, for sure. For sure. Next up, we have a hot take from the GOAT himself, Young Mustard. Y'all go ahead and check out his channel. Y'all go back to him and say what's up to him, because Steve sent you. You know, you feel me? But he says Jason Kidd is a Black Ricky Rubio.
Is this nigga serious?
The next hot take we have is the Lakers won't make the playoffs this year. Personally, I thought the Lakers, now I said it before, there's a high chance that they don't. And now that Anthony Davis is injured, yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. But I think that LeBron James, I don't know what it is. I don't think he's gonna, I think that the team's gonna have to figure out a way to just, it's actually going to be very tough. This is actually very true. And I think a lot of people don't think that this is possible. But when you look at the fact that the Blazers, I believe, are like maybe 2 games behind the Lakers in that 9th seed. Then you have the Pelicans who are trying to make a run. The Kings are trying to make a run. The Lakers cannot play any games. So if they go on a losing streak, they could see themselves at the 11th seed, maybe the 10th seed, fighting for that. And you don't have Anthony Davis. You only have LeBron James. And Russell Westbrook, who's kind of been a little bit better. It's not enough in the Western Conference. But like I said before, not making any moves at the trade deadline hurt them. And voila. Now look, but it's not crazy. It's possible. That's very, very possible. It's very possible. Next up, we have another hot take. We got Jaren Jackson. This is on Twitter. Jaren Jackson is a top 5 power forward in the league right now. That's not that crazy. It's not that crazy to think about, but I had to go down the list and think about it. So you look at Jaren Jackson again, for the Grizzlies, we know how great they've been. And Jaren Jackson, who I said was going to be an X factor this year, he stepped up defensively, averaging around 2 blocks per game. I look at the other power forwards. I think you got Giannis. You got to look at KD. You could probably put Tatum as a power forward as well, Siakam. And I think that on Jaren Jackson's part, he's made some strides to be better. And I think a lot of people people respected his game now. Going forward, entering the playoffs, because we all know regular season is great, but if you can't do what you did in the regular season in the playoffs, there's a lot of question marks on what you can really do when the pressure's on. So I think that when we get into the playoffs, we'll see what Jaren Jackson is on. And if he balls out, hey, he might have a shot at saying, you know what, I'm in that conversation of like one of the top 5 power forwards. But I think right now, there's just a lot of guys who've been proven, who are playing great right now, who are they're just above him right now. And he's on his way. He's only 23 or 24. So he's on his way there, but credit to him for having a good season. He's one of the big factors of why the Grizzlies are playing great basketball right now. Next up, we have another take on Twitter, and it is the Nets won the Philly trade. Harden and Embiid won't have chemistry due to their bad habits, and the Nets have a third star that doesn't need to score, who is an elite defender, and on top of that, they got depth in Drummond and more shooting with Curry and didn't give up much. See, this is the thing about the Nets trade. Like I said before, you guys can look at my previous video where I talked about I think James Harden made the right decision. Now, this is a win-win trade for both teams just by looking at it on paper. We're not gonna know who really won until months later. I'm talking about going into next season or maybe into the playoffs. Because the way I view it is this: if James Harden comes onto the Sixers and he plays the way he's supposed to play and they win, then they clearly won the trade. Now, if the Nets come out and they're able to make more moves, or if, like you said, Ben Simmons doesn't have to score the ball as much because he has so much shooting on the court. But at the end of the day, the problem with the big three was the fact that they're never on the court. So with Ben Simmons, when is he going to be on the court? When is KD going to be on the court? And Kyrie, we don't know when he's going to be on the court. So we really don't know yet. But within time, we'll see. So I don't think you can really say who's a winner. You can just say that both teams came out with what they wanted, and going forward, we'll see what happens. So yeah. And for my last take for the day, we have the Lakers would be a 3 to 5th seed if they didn't have any injuries this season. That's not really that hot, but I think that you could put them around the 5th seed, highest 4th seed. I don't think they're better than any of the 3 teams in the Suns, Warriors, or Grizzlies. And I think that the Jazz, they're better than the Jazz. They could be the 4th seed. But I think that, again, you can be better than a team, but it's if you can be consistent. And the Lakers have not been consistent. I know they've dealt with a lot of injuries all year, but even with them being healthy, they've also not played up to where they should be at, up to their standard. I can't sit up here and just say, you know, AD, LeBron, and Russell Westbrook together, that trio can be great. But at the end of the day, when they are together, it's not like they're just walking over guys. It's not the case. But I do think health has been an issue. And if they were healthy, they'd be a better team. But the highest I could probably put them is maybe 5th or 4th seed. Forget what ifs. They need to figure out what they're finna do in this regular season, because hey, shit is getting peak. It's getting real peak. Like, no cap. But that concludes mixed takes. You guys go ahead. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like. And of course, when I post when the next mixtape is gonna happen, go ahead and leave your hot takes. You know, tell me what you guys think. It might be crazy. Whatever you want to do. If you want to be shouted out on the video, just let me know. But of course, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like I said, subscribe, and definitely tell your friends about the channel. Turn your post notification bell on so you never miss a video. Follow me on all my social media accounts. You guys know the links in the description. All the YouTube shit. Like, I'm not about to. You know the rundown. Like, but until next time, I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay on beat.